It is a complete debacle of a coaching search in Berea. The Cleveland Browns coaching search is in chaos. We need to get to the bottom of it. Let's get to the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, the sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Shabba-lubba hub.
It's gonna be sick.
Welcome, everybody. The NFL offseason continues. We got the AFC, NFC championship games coming up this Sunday. Decide who's going to the Super Bowl. Of course, the Browns are nowhere near that conversation, but plenty of drama around the Browns, of course. Make sure you're clicking subscribe. Notifications on for the channel. Share it. Love more people jumping in and following along. Get us and follow us on X on Twitter, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, Instagram and TikTok too, at AndyMC Sports. That's where I do my instant reaction videos. And when the Browns do hire a head coach, whenever that might be, I'll be jumping on there. And I got a hunch. I might not be pleased about it. So I thought, you know what? To talk about all that's going on, because it's moving at a fever pitch. I got a ton of articles up on Sporting News. Get to all those links on my socials as well about this search, about this and that. I thought, let's welcome in friend of show, Cleveland-born from NBC Sports, John Fanta, back to the program. John, how are you?
Andy, it's terrific to be with you. My son's name is Andrew, so I love the name Andy.
There you go,
and it's not going terrific, or at least it doesn't appear to be going terrific for the Cleveland Browns. And, you know, that kind of gets confirmed when a Jesse Minter says, I'm going to go to Baltimore, when a Mike McDaniel says, yeah, I'm okay. Clearly, I think we're seeing the reality of the situation, and that this job, it's just not one of the top openings in the league.
No, I would describe it in two words, John. Total disaster. And I would describe it in those two words because the Mike McDaniel snub, I don't think we can overlook. So he had other head coaching job interviews and decided to sign with the Chargers as OC. And it's like, okay, people dumping on the Browns, but he turned down other ones. Now he's going back to talk to the Buffalo Bills? Like, this is a complete slap in the face saying, Andrew Berry, Jimmy Haslam, the way you have things sorted up, which Browns fans have realized for a long time, does not work for a head coach that has options. Is that fair?
It is fair, and it's a job right now. You don't have a quarterback certainty. You know, you might have a quarterback in Shedeur Sanders, but the fact is there's still a lot of unknowns there, and if based on the way that the Browns have handled past quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders, I would say I'm still concerned about the turnovers and the timing and all of that. You start the search. The first two problems with this search, Andy, were number one, when the owner comes out and he says, you know, I really like Jim Schwartz and we want to keep him. Now, Browns fans, I know how much you love Jim Schwartz. I love him too. He's done a very nice job as a defensive coordinator. But, and I've been getting some heat from this from people that want Schwartz. On X, a couple of people. Here's my thought process with that. Don't you think that if they were going to hire him as head coach, it would have been done like a week ago? Like, what are they waiting for? So clearly he's not their first choice as head coach, because if he were, he'd already be hired. Secondly, don't you think if he was a desired head coaching candidate, he'd be interviewing for any other job opening in the National Football League?
Right. Okay? As a serious candidate. I think he met with Baltimore, but it seemed like okay, we're doing you're doing due diligence. It's not a real factor. Yeah.
So you're the owner and you're telling whoever you're hiring that you really would want them to keep Jim Schwartz. That's not normal. That's not normal. When somebody takes over as the boss of a company, they don't get told you have to keep these people employed or else.
Right.
And then number two, it's allowing Andrew Berry to be the guy that, I mean, I don't know how much he's in charge because they've said it in their messaging, but now Jordan Schultz is reporting that former Chargers and Raiders general manager Tom Telesco is serving as a consultant in this search. Tom Telesco, who hired Mike McCoy, Anthony Lynn, and Brandon Staley, and then worked with Antonio Pierce with the Raiders, but obviously was with the Chargers. His hires were not good. He ended up unemployed there.
That's the guy?
Yeah, this is just in the last hours. They've hired a consultant who's going to really impart his wisdom and between Staley
Help!
and Pierce and Anthony Lynn, all these guys, he's got really good knowledge of how to make a coaching hire.
Oh, John, no. Why? When you think, we should know as Browns fans, just when you think, it's like, it can't get any weirder than this, it does. The guy who's hired terrible coaches as your consultant, and here's what is really driving me nuts. You mentioned if they wanted Schwartz, wouldn't they hire him already? I totally agree. However, they are botching the Rooney Rule. John, they can't physically hire a coach because Mike McDaniel hosed him, who's biracial. That would count as a Rooney Rule candidate. He said, nope, I'm out. We talked about that. Nate Shieldhouse can't interview until at least Monday after the NFC Championship game from the Rams. John, they got nobody else.
The only reality where this search makes sense at this point is if they hire Shieldhouse and they've just been trickling it along and they knew all along they were going to hire him.
And he was the guy.
That I can say, okay, I'll justify. I understand why they did what they did. They wanted this guy. And then at that point, it's on him and them to prove that he was the right hire. That's a totally different story.
Story.
If they go and hire Shieldhouse on Tuesday or Wednesday and they do bring in I'll also say this, Andy. Let's not I doubt this. But there's a world where they schedule an interview to go about the Rooney Rule. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's not getting reported on. Maybe it's not getting reported on yet. I'm not trying to be optimistic here, but also it is weird that rule, which is very known in the National Football League, that none of that has taken place in this search. But if they hire Shieldhouse, I could understand why you dragged it along. I would just say this. Right. All of the people who absolutely hated, and I don't know where you stand on him, but all of the people who hated Kevin Stefanski and wanted him fired and said it was all on him and this is all his fault and stuff, how's he doing right now?
He's smiling in Atlanta. Well, he has Baker Mayfield gunning for him, so I don't know. Baker's coming for him.
And don't even get me started on that clown show because he showed, call me when Baker Mayfield leads a team to a conference championship game.
Oh,
I'll pack my phone for the grave because it's never going to happen.
For the grave.
It's never going to happen.
I loved Baker when he was here. I thought it was mishandled grossly, but seeing that, I'm like, guy, Kevin Stefanski, he didn't trade you. Blame Jimmy Haslam or Andrew Berry. They said they were searching for Baker Mayfield's replacement the previous November. You think Stefanski's trying to win ball games? They
wanted to go for a championship and it backfired. And I'll never look, Watson could have panned out. Clearly they didn't do their homework though.
No.
But here's the thing though. The one optimistic side I would say to Browns fans is this. You're looking at all these different teams. All right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what do they all have? Head coach, quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's hard to evaluate the quarterback position because, number one, Stefanski's offense had grown archaic and stale.
Yeah.
And number two, Sanders showed signs, but look at that wide receiver room. Look at the offensive line room. It wasn't good.
And he had 0 snaps with the starters in training camp.
So I'll give him that. Totally give him that. What I would say is if they can get the right head coach, who I at this point I go Shieldhouse or Udinski. If people want to disagree with that, I'll listen to you. There's some people who are like, we need the old school football guy. I'm here to tell you, an old school football guy doesn't want to work with Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam. Do you know why? Yep. Mike Holmgren's calling them. They're calling Mike Holmgren. They're going to call. They're going to call Kevin Stefanski.
They're going to call. Who just retired.
What's that?
Mike Pettin, who just retired.
They're going to call Mike Pettin. They're going to call the football people who have been in it for years. They're going to call Freddie Kitchens. They're going to call John Dorsey, and those guys are going to say it's not something you want to work for. And people get mad. I've had Browns fans get mad at me for saying that. I'm sorry. It's just the reality of the situation.
You don't want it to be true, but it is.
No, I don't want it to be true. I want them to win.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to go young. And that young person's going to have to understand these are the parameters. And guess what? If you win, nothing else matters.
Yeah. Then you're a genius. Yeah.
But it still feels like structurally there's things that are wrong with this organization that hold them back.
They've kept doing, and I thought with the departure of Paul DePodesta, that grifter who's now going to wreck the Colorado Rockies even more. I thought maybe Jimmy Haslam would say, okay, let's go old school, more Dorsey style. Let's go more conventional, whatever that works for other teams. Looks like that is not the case. Now, let me throw this scenario by you. And we're kind of right now. And by the way, we don't know who that other minority candidate is going to be. And John, if they're going to even take the interview, because right now, aren't the optics like, hey, we're just interviewing you to check a box? Like, that's pretty damning a bad look to do that.
It is. It's very damning. It's very damning. And it's yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we're talking about how this rule hasn't been executed.
No.
And it's kind of sad that we have to bring it up because it's like,
but it's holding the Browns back because the other teams can hire coaches because they've met it. The Browns
they haven't met with anyone. They have not met with anyone that would fulfill that rule. I'm saying it like I totally, support the rule and
yes, absolutely
understand the rule,
and they know the rule. So how do you not follow it?
Well, they don't know everything, and it seems like they don't know a lot of things, and or they think that they do, but they don't. And this GM managing this, he's 1 for 6 on drafts. 1 for 6. Now he's 1 for his last one. What have you done for me lately? But the other thing is, he nailed this draft with some really good picks. He also picked Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round and picked Shedeur in the 5th round, and they could have easily been reversed. Oh, by the way, part of the reason why some of these rookies put up the numbers they did, and I think Schwesinger's a good player. I'm here to say, I like Harold Fannin. I love Quinshon Judkins, but they also had the productivity that they did because they're on a terrible team.
They had to play. They had to
play. That's not normal of every team. So
100%.
The Browns got 99 problems, and you and I aren't one of them. But man, I mean, that might be putting it lightly. We all want them to win, but yeah, as this thing drags along, you just have to say, like, what? Number one, who's in charge? Number two, why are you hiring a consultant? Like, why are you hiring what appears to be this guy could be your new Deep Podesta? Like, why do you feel the need to bring? What organization hires a guy who hired Anthony Lynn, Mike McCoy, and Brandon Staley? That's a damn optics look.
My head's going to explode. Oh my gosh. Okay. John, let me throw this by you, and then we'll let you go because I know you're a busy dude. Let's say this scenario. We want the young – really, this offense needs a total overhaul from offensive line all the way around. It's a disaster.
Right.
So, couple different scenarios. Grant Udinsky, 30 years old. I could totally see the Browns being like, we have the youngest GM. We're going to outside the box and be the youngest GM. Okay, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. What if you go, and maybe it's a concession plan. You put Schwartz as head coach. You bring in somebody like a Shieldhouse, who it would be a major promotion. He's not even offensive coordinator with the Rams. He is passing game coordinator, and he doesn't call plays. So you put Shieldhouse, hey, here's a promotion to OC. You also call the plays. And by the way, after a few years, maybe it's your job to come. Like a Shieldhouse, or the same thing with Udinsky. I'm not sure if he calls plays in Jacksonville or not, but something where you bring in the young upstart guy, freshen up the offense. Right, freshen up the offense, and then Schwartz is sort of that guy who can get the accountability and that same structure. What do you think of that?
I just don't know if Schwartz would do it. Does Schwartz want to do that with a younger guy? Udinsky
in that reporting structure.
Shieldhouse is 35. That'd be very unique. And by the way, there's a lot of reports now that Nate Shieldhouse had a very impressive interview with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, of course he did.
Yeah, so the Steelers were very impressed. They've talked with him. They've been coordinated. They're measured in their search. This guy's going to end up in the AFC North. I don't know if it'll be with us. I don't know if it'll be with the Steelers. Hopefully money talks. But I think Nate Shieldhouse is the answer to a lot of these things here. But, man, it's just – Andy, it's tough to fathom that we've gotten to this point. You fire – Kevin Stefanski, you knew you were going to fire him for weeks on end. Every day that passes, you're more behind the 8 ball.
Yep.
You better be hiring somebody who's still actively in the playoffs, or else I'm going to say you didn't get your choice.
Yep.
You didn't get choice A, choice B, choice C. This was your final resort.
Which is probably Schwartz as a fallback. If, like you said,
if they hire
a job.
Right. And does Schwartz want to be, that
yes man,
that really? Yes man, or that last guy, that the girl goes for at the party because he's the only guy left in the basement. I'm not saying I have past experience. I do not. But you don't want to be that guy that's just standing by the keg and she's feeling some type of way, and so she said, I'm gonna go for him because this is my last resort. Like I wouldn't want to be that. Jim Schwartz has had too great of a career, but he's waiting around. He's also waiting around for something. So who knows?
2 a.m. the lights come on at the club. Hey, if they're looking at you, right? That might be what it. That's
where we're at with the Brown search right now. And right now the lights are very much off.
The lights are off. What a disaster! Oh boy, John.
We'll see.
We'll see if they. And by the way, one last point: the longer this goes, to whoever you hire as head coach will have fewer options to fill out your staff.
Well said.
Right?
They're in a deep predicament now. There are still several openings in the NFL.
Yeah,
we know that. What Steelers, Browns, Bills, Chargers,
Cardinals.
Not the Chargers. The Cardinals.
Titans.
No, they got Robert Saleh, which made me laugh.
Yes. Oh, Saleh. Yes.
Andy, we shall see, my friend.
Woo, John, great stuff, buddy. Let's do it again soon and hope for the best. Talk to you
anytime,
later.
My friend. Great to join you and your crew.
All right, brother. Talk to you later. There he goes, John Fanta from NBC Sports, Cleveland native. Does a great job. And, oh, boy. Folks, what John said, I was not aware of. The hiring of the consultant. You prep for the show, you get ready, and then you see what's happening, right? And the fact that they hired a consultant, the Browns did, who had such a horrible track record is I don't know. Like, where I would love to see please tell me the thought process. Please inform me of the thought process where you look at somebody's record and say, hey, you're the one who's going to advise us on the head coach when they've had a horrific track record. What makes you think that guy is going to be able to do that? Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. I have a ton of articles up too, folks, on The Sporting News, all on X at AndyMC81, at SickPodBrowns. They're in the story at AndyMC Sports on Instagram too. Lining up a whole bunch of different scenarios. Some cool trade stuff of why the Browns should not go after Brandon Ayuk and should not go after A.J. Brown, with who they've been rumored to be. 5 free agents they need to bring back, 5 they should not bring back. So make sure you're checking all that out too. But it is Championship Sunday coming up. We got some bets to make. All right, we got DraftKings Sportsbook. 2 games, of course, the Patriots and the Broncos. Let's start with that. With, as Coach Sean Payton called him, a Stiddy, Jarrett Stidham, who I love the NFL because, man, they can spin a story like nobody else. And it's entertainment. They are trying to make the case. Jarrett Stidham, oh, he's like Sean Payton's secret weapon. Really? The guy hasn't thrown a pass since 2023. He got chucked out from the Patriots where he was drafted, gone from the Raiders, and he's been with Sean Payton. The reason you have that type of backup quarterback is because you have a really good starting quarterback, and you don't want to pay an expensive backup because your guy's so good. That's why. Look at the teams with good quarter. Patrick Mahomes, you had Gardner Minshew. I think Gardner Minshew is better than Jarrett Stidham. Right? Like, you go down the list. Jarrett Stidham is terrible. He's a bad quarterback. Now, that doesn't mean that the Broncos cannot win this ballgame, because Sean Payton is also a very smart coach. So what they're going to need to do, obviously, and the Patriots and Mike Vrabel, who's also a very smart head coach, know this, they're going to have to run the ball a ton. They're going to have to lean on their defense to create turnovers and short fields and get a lot of field goals. I don't know if I'd have to check if there's props on field goals for the Broncos on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Take the over. They're going to be looking for field goals, ball control, and have Stidham just super safe, dink and dunk game manager. Like, whatever you look at come game time, the under for passing yards for Jarrett Stidham, take it. I bet I would be surprised if he even threw a touchdown. I believe the line is 0.5 on passing touchdowns for Jarrett Stidham. Under that. If somehow it pops to 1.5, smash the under. It doesn't mean they can't win. It's at home. And you get into a low-scoring, grinded-out game. I think there's a good chance that they could. I wouldn't say a good chance. There is a chance they can pull the upset. Patriots 3.5-point favorites. I think I might take the Broncos to cover that and take the under, but Patriots money line. Then you go to Rams Seahawks, NFC West owning the NFL playoffs. This is the real Super Bowl to me. You got Sam Darnold. Folks, do you realize Sam Darnold could be the first quarterback from that fantastic 2018 draft class that included in the first round Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Sam Darnold? He could be the first one to reach a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold. Who would have thought? 2.5-point home favorites are the Seahawks. The Rams got their number, man. The Rams, they lost in overtime, but in that game, Sam Darnold threw 2 picks, 2 touchdowns. You can get to Sam Darnold, but you have to get a lead and force him out of his comfort zone. These defenses are both fantastic. I'm taking Rams straight up money line. 46.5. See, here's the thing. The first time they played, it was 20-19 Rams, and that was 37-36, I believe, in overtime. So you've had both. I don't know if I touch the over-under. But give me the Rams straight up money line and Rams to cover that. That's what I'm doing. Man. And make sure you folks are getting yourself to the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Makes every playoff moment feel bigger. DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SICKSPORTS. That's code SICKSPORTS to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the conference championship games and make sure you are stayed tuned to the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara for any Browns coaching breaking news. I'll have the stories up on the Sporting News. Like I said, make sure you are following along on all the socials, on X at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, on Twitter, on X. That's where you're going to keep up to date. Instagram and TikTok as well, at AndyMC Sports. Big thanks to John Fanta from NBC Sports for dropping by and going over this coaching search debacle. Boy, let me know what your thoughts are. You got a favorite? You got somebody you like? Who do you want as the Browns' next head coach? Let me know your thoughts on that and the whole process as a whole. So, for John Fanta, for producer Jimmy, I'm Andy McNamara. Let's see what the Browns do next week in this coaching search. Until then, go Browns!
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.